Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
We won all our court cases have been dropped. All our summons against us, we were totaled up to $240,000.
Impossible fines.
Impossible fines. Everything was dropped. They dropped everything. It was kind of shocking, but
our lawyer knew exactly what she was doing. She basically said, like, we're just going to keep prolonging this so that because eventually she said, if it gets to the point where you guys can reopen up, the point on this letter is moot. And I really don't think that the police officers in Sudbury or the bylaw really want to do this, because honestly, they showed up an hour after we opened up. And even the investigator, the one that
wanted it done. They're like, here, it's over. We're not attacking you guys anymore. I guess we got somewhat of a presence here at Sudbury and a lot of followers as well. And we're community leaders.
Again, we had Nirmala Armstrong.
She just called. I was her on the phone.
It
was her on the phone.
Oh gosh, yeah, just called back. Amazing lawyer.
Luckily, there's no more health hazard and they're allowed to operate under the Reopening of Ontario Act.
We've got an incredible Fight the Fines victory to tell you about today. Now, for those of you who don't know, Fight the Fines is Rebel News' largest civil liberties initiative to date, where we help businesses, pastors, mostly just normal Canadians, trying to live their lives and make a living, fight their lockdown tickets and summonses and fines, and sometimes even criminal charges in court at no cost to them by putting them in touch with top criminal and civil litigators. Now, do you guys remember the story of Mr. Green's Novelties? They're a cannabis accessories retailer in Sudbury, Ontario. Anyway, the pandemic had already forced Daphne and Shawn Donaldson to close one of their stores forever. And since they're a new business in a somewhat new industry, for them to give their customers the kind of care and service the Donaldsons feel their customers deserve, they couldn't just be open to curbside pickup. Now, Mr. Green's is also an active part of their community. They give back, they do food drives, they sponsor local initiatives. So for them to shut their doors altogether, if that second store didn't survive, it would be an enormous loss for the community of Sudbury. So Mr. Green's opened their business to walk-in customers. And then they became freedom activists against the lockdown. They came under immediate surveillance from the local police and bylaw and health authorities. But the Donaldsons stood firm, and we helped them fight back through fightthefines.com with the help and support of all of you at home who donate and continue to donate. Let me tell you, you're making a real difference. Not only are you offering financial support in the battle for civil liberties, but your moral support means a lot to these businesses. And friends, today your support has facilitated a legal victory that has freed Mr. Green's from the potential for hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines that they face for taking a stand for entrepreneurs and for freedom. Mr. Green's have had all their charges related to the business thrown out of court. Take a listen.
We won all our court cases have been dropped. All our summons against us, we were totaled up to $240,000.
Impossible fines.
Impossible fines. Everything was dropped. They dropped everything. It was kind of shocking, but.
Well, okay, so I'll explain to you why. So and the thing is that's unfortunate is that nobody's gonna actually be able to use our case as a precedent, for how they won. The only reason why they had no choice to drop the tickets is because Ontario opened up to allow us 15%. I think it is at this time we're allowed to have people in our store. But honestly,
it's still a big win.
It's still a big win regardless. Our lawyer knew exactly what she was doing. She basically said, like, we're just going to keep prolonging this so that because eventually she said, if it gets to the point where you guys can reopen up, the point on this letter is moot. So basically they have to come and, reverse the not the charges, but the possibility of charges. And I really don't think that the police officers in Sudbury or the bylaw really want to do this, because honestly, they showed up an hour after we opened up. And even the investigator, the one that
wanted it done. They're like, here, it's over. We're not attacking you guys anymore. I guess we got somewhat of a presence here at Sudbury and a lot of followers as well. And we're community leaders. Like we've never done anything really wrong. So,
but yeah, the investigator came and he actually introduced himself to Shawn. I wasn't here on the day of, which was really sad because I would have loved to have seen it. But the investigator came and he introduced himself to Shawn. He said, I'm Tim, this is me. So that was pretty interesting.
That's really great. Yeah, I think in some of the instances, the health authorities would rather kick the fines out than have these things go to court. You guys get a win. And then that sort of sets legal precedent going forward with regard to this stuff. So they would rather put you guys in serious financial turmoil, experience incredible amounts of anxiety just to throw these things out at the 11th hour because they know they're going to lose.
Yeah. And honestly, and I think, and again, we had Nirmala Armstrong.
She just called. It was her on the phone. It was her on the phone.
Oh gosh. I'm gonna call her back. Amazing warrior. She's so fantastic. And honestly, so professional, courteous, friendly. You know, after our two main case, like our 2 days there that we went on, and we had to we actually went on the phone with her for like a good, half hour after, and just, discuss things. We laughed and vented, you know what I mean? So it was really nice. We got to actually be personable with them, which is really great.
So as far as stuff that we've done in Sudbury, not to interrupt, but we did join up with MAD Sudbury, Mothers Against Distancing now. And they wanted us to be organizers, I guess, seeing all the progress we've gotten in our community already. We're still doing food drives. Food drives are going very well.
I'm so glad to hear that the lawyers are taking really good care of you. I spoke to Amanda Armstrong, who were Nirmala's daughter. Yeah. And boy, she sure has a passion and a heart for helping people and fighting these fines.
Amazing people.
And actually, one other thing that we did want to mention. So now, because I guess, they know we're not done fighting. So we have been protesting every single weekend. Yeah. Shawn got a ticket for protesting, his first one.
I got my first protesting ticket now. So this is aside from the business. So now this is a whole new step that we're heading in that direction. Now we're ready to fight for our kids, for our schools. We want our kids back in school, and with what they're pushing with these vaccinations and possible passports and stuff. That's going to be our next fight that we're going to try to, stand up for our rights and our people here in our community.
Our daughter is actually graduating tomorrow. It's pretty sad what she has to go through.
No one could walk in with her. She walks in, gets a bag off her teacher, walks out. Daphne drives to the next spot. She walks out, takes a picture next to the school, gets in the car, and it's done. That's your graduation ceremony, which is really sad.
It's absolutely terrible.
What a disgrace. Shawn, you know what to do with that brand new ticket. We'd love to help you. Do you have a message, you guys, for all the people who saw your story, donated to fight the fines, and I know that people reach out to you guys all the time online because they've seen you fighting for freedom. You got a message for everybody?
Yes, we do. Don't give up. Stand up. It's been a long, it was a hard 6 months that we went through, but that 6 months is not worth it. We've gained so many more new friends, new clients, new customers. And the amount of respect we got from our community and from our customers it's something that we did not expect. We weren't fighting to get honor or respect. We were just trying to keep our business open, right? And then we got a lot more than we thought we'd get from the community. And a lot of people stood up with us, supporting us. So, and
for anybody that feels like they've lost, friends and family, honestly, we've gained friends. So much.
Like Sheila.
This. We're okay, and I want to say this. So we're going to be married 15 years on the 8th.
We're doing a marriage celebration.
But we are renewing our vows, whether we're allowed to or not, because right now we can only have 10.
And we're inviting lots of people.
I don't care. But Sheila, you and the Rebel News are invited. You're part of our new family. If you guys want to come, I know you're not from Ontario, but you're more than welcome on July 8th in my backyard. Let's go.
Oh, you guys are some of my favorite Fight the Fines clients. How can people get a hold of you? I know you guys have a very broad and active social media presence, and I feel like you would provide a lot of moral support to people who feel alone during the lockdown. And by the way, how do they buy your stuff?
So we got our website, mrgreensnovelties.com. And again, like you said, we are very active on social media. So we are only on our Facebook, Instagram.
We've been doing a live show on every Friday, which has now turned somewhat to half of a Patriot show now, which at first was just entertainment based, but now we got so many Patriots jumping on board and a lot of our supporters jumping on board, just looking for information and support and something to do. Because the entertainment business is gone. So every Friday we provide hope for everybody to keep moving forward.
And also, if you are in the Sudbury region, we are located at 1827 LaSalle Boulevard in Sudbury. So we're actually near Falconbridge. We're open. We do have signs all over our doors stating that we allow mask exemptions. And the way I see it, if you walk in without a mask, that's your exemption. And we personally don't wear them anymore either. I don't have any use for it. I could do a burning party if anybody wants to, that's fine too. Mask burning.
Also our email address, Mr. Green's Novelties 420 @gmail. So if anybody wants to contact us for any information, send us your story. We'll get back to you and we can do as much as we can. We'll hit you with Rebel News.
Guys, I want to let you get back to your story. You guys were late to our interview because you had customers. I couldn't be happier about it. Thanks for taking the time. Shawn, we'll help you with the new ticket. If you get a ticket on your renewal of your wedding vows, I'm here to help. I would love to fight that ticket.
Oh, yeah, me too.
You guys have a great rest of your day.
Thanks,
Just
Sheila.
well, take care.
Aren't those two great? They have such a great upbeat attitude, and they're taking their win and they're paying it forward by continuing their activism against the lockdown and helping other people stand up for freedom too. Now, let's talk to one of Mr. Green's Fight the Fines lawyers, Amanda Armstrong from Nirmala Armstrong Law here.
That on April 20th, conveniently 420, which is kind of funny, and but it really is. But what happened on April 20th is Mr. Green's Novelties was issued a Section 13 closure order under the Health Protection and Promotion Act. We also call that the HPPA for short. So that was kind of a unique circumstance in and of itself, because what we notice and what we deal with at our law firm right now is Section 22 orders under the Health Protection and Promotion Act. So what's the difference? Well, the difference, one of them, the Section 22 orders, deals with communicable diseases, whereas Section 13 deals with health hazards. So then that raises the concern and the question right off the bat, what is the health hazard? What does that mean? And that's where we start with questioning the opposing party, Public Health for Sudbury, and ask them these questions and seek clarification. We know, and our clients know well off the hop, that we are not shy when seeking clarification and asking these questions, especially during these new times and these unprecedented times where they're using this different type of power. And at the end of the day, what it is a power, and it's under the Health Protection and Promotion Act. We go in front of the tribunal and we get clarification. So what ended up happening is that after April 20th, we started with a couple of case conferences in the tribunal. And then as early as June 2nd, we decided that this matter was not going to resolve itself. So let's set it down for a hearing. And unfortunately, the earliest date that we could get was August, the first week of August. So based off of all the parties' availability. So at least the matter was set down for a hearing on the first week of August. And then we received the great news that on June 11th, the order was rescinded. So now there's no longer any order. Even though there was a change in the legislation, the Reopening of Ontario Act, Public Health could have come back and still stated that there's still a health hazard here. And that's why the term health hazard was very important in this case, because we needed to know what exactly it is. So luckily, there's no more health hazard and they're allowed to operate under the Reopening of Ontario Act. So that was some great news right then and there.
This lockdown is awful. People are losing their businesses, losing their loved ones. Our elderly are dying alone. We need good news like this now more than ever. Let me take a minute once again to thank everybody who has donated to fightthefines.com. I work with the Fight the Fines lawyers every single day. They have a real passion and heart for their work and for freedom and for helping the underdog. And I work with the underdogs every day too. People like Mr. Greens, like Chris Scott at the Whistle Stop, Pastor Art Pulowski, and some of the less high profile cases who are nonetheless equally important, because everybody's civil liberties matter and everybody's small business matters, because if it's essential to you, that's all that matters to me. We might not feel like we're changing the world, but when we help people, we're changing that person's world when they think they're all alone. And we can't make that difference without you and your financial support. If you'd like to help us continue defending civil liberties through fightthefines.com, please donate at that special website. And all of your donations there now qualify for a charitable tax receipt through the registered Canadian charity, the Democracy Fund. There are currently over 1,700 people being helped through the Democracy Fund. That means 1,700 worlds are being changed because of you. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. If you'd like to help us continue to help small business owners like Mr. Green's Novelties or Wild Archery or Chris Scott at the Whistle Stop and the approximately 1,700 other normal Canadians just making a stand for normalcy, please donate today at fightthefines.com. fightthefines.com, and all donations there now qualify for a charitable tax receipt through the registered Canadian charity, the Democracy Fund. If you'd like to help us help Mr. Greens and Wild Archery and Chris Scott at the Whistle Stop and the approximately 1,700 other businesses and normal everyday Canadians fight their lockdown tickets in court at no cost to them, please donate today at fightthefines.com, and all donations there now qualify for a charitable tax receipt through the registered Canadian charity, the Democracy Fund.